So you're looking to get Donkey Kong 64 and other awesome N64 games.
Well, I hope we talk about Bomberman.
So we have another list of some games that you really should get for the
I
N64.
really do mean that because, like, I don't know if it's my favorite console.
It's up there.
I think it's probably a contender for like top 3. It might be number 1.
Yeah.
Like I always come back to it. Like there's just so many games on it, and it sounds so generic, but like I do come back to so many different games in the N64 all the time. Like the one we're gonna start with. We're gonna start with Donkey Kong 64. Now, collectathon aside from the fact that this is by the time the collectathon's like ballooned in size and there's tons of stuff to collect. For Donkey Kong 64, I didn't really have a problem with that. Like I really liked all the collection, like from Banjo and Mario 64 and like all those games. This one was probably the biggest on the console, for better or for worse. Like there was so many things to collect. There was a bunch of different Kongs you could play as. It was just this, it was like Rare had to better themselves and be like, oh, we got to be bigger than Banjo-Tooie or Banjo-Kazooie, right?
Yeah.
And I think it looked great. I really enjoyed it. I don't come back to it a ton, but I always enjoy it when I do. Like the sound design is great. Is it too big? Maybe it is a little bit too big, but like there was just something about Donkey Kong. If it was any other character, I probably would have not come back to it. But
And one of the coolest things about this game is they added a multiplayer. Like I never owned this game growing up, but I remember going to the ski hills where they had N64s, like cabinets that you'd play for free with 4 controllers, and people would just be on the multiplayer of Donkey Kong 64.
I remember seeing them like all the time.
Yeah.
At Big White there, because that's the ski hill here in our part of the world.
Yeah, and I just remember spending lots of time. My dad used to work up there, so he'd bring me up there. And after I was done snowboarding, I would just be playing these multiplayer games with all these kids. And I was terrible at it, just like everybody else. But
to be fair, the multiplayer is not the main shtick of the game. Like,
no,
do not come
it's
to
a
Donkey Kong
bonus.
64 hoping for some great experience. Like, GoldenEye is much, much better, but it's there. I'd rather have it, not need it, than need it, and not have it. So.
And I think one thing worth noting on this game is the expansion pack is required.
Yes, it is.
So if you're going to be buying this game, expect to also buy the expansion pack as well. So talking price-wise, you can expect to spend around $45 for the game by itself.
That's cheaper than I was expecting. I was expecting $60, $70.
And being realistic, it's probably another $30 or $40 for the expansion pack. So keep that in mind.
Is that about what they go for?
Yeah.
Somewhere around there?
And
that's not too bad.
Yeah, and to add to the list, we are now going to do Perfect Dark. Another Rare game, shooter, and people love it. I mean, it's a lot of people really go back and forth on whether this or GoldenEye is better.
Well, it followed GoldenEye, right? And objectively, it's probably better than GoldenEye, but you have to remember that GoldenEye is James Bond.
Yeah.
So we're not here to talk about GoldenEye, we're here to talk about Perfect Dark, but it's very similar. So gameplay-wise, if you enjoy GoldenEye, you probably enjoy Perfect Dark. There's more variety of guns. It's more of a sci-fi futuristic type of game.
Yeah.
And it's good. It's not. I'm getting kind of hung up here because I'm like GoldenEye, Perfect Dark. Like they're both good. They're both good for their own reasons.
But you know what? Maybe the selling feature is that it's only a $35 game.
I remember that's about what I paid.
Yeah.
A little while ago.
It's a little bit cheaper than GoldenEye, and if you liked GoldenEye, we definitely recommend picking this one up.
Definitely. Moving on from there, I know Donnivin has a special one he's going to talk about, and I have some experience with it, but he actually owned it growing up.
Bomberman?
Yeah.
Bomberman 64. It was a good game. I mean, as I've talked about in a couple other videos, I love games that are pick up and put down, and for me, realistically, I put all my time into the multiplayer of this game. And
it's like the reverse of Perfect Dark.
Yeah, exactly.
Or no, sorry, the reverse of Donkey Kong 64.
And it's one of those games that you'd go to birthday parties and everyone would have such a good time because really no one was that good at it either. And just getting the collectibles, throwing and kicking the bombs and picking up people, going through the tall grass and being like, I don't know where anybody is.
That's a great level.
And you know what? Like, it's one of the games, like, just recently, Jordan and I just sat down. We're like, yeah, let's play some video games, some N64. We put that in. 2 hours later, just playing the multiplayer, we're like, okay, we should, maybe do some videos or something.
I think we actually had a friend rage quit. We were just 3 of us.
Yeah.
But we played it for a long time, and you know, I remember playing like that on, you know, his birthday at his place and stuff like that, and we had just as much fun. Mind you, I think we got better at it quicker than we would have when we were younger. We got pretty good at it, and that was 3 hours, but it was, yeah, I loved it a lot. I'd go back to it right now.
And for $50, I do think it's worth it, especially for the multiplayer experience. If you're looking for games that are going to be meant for more than one person.
Well, it does have a single player experience as well.
It does.
And it's not bad. I've been recently going through it. It's pretty good.
So, highly recommend it. $50, you'll get every dollar's worth.
And our last choice, last but not least, is actually, it sounds weird, but it's one of my favorite N64 games. And I don't know if it's a combination of the visuals and the gameplay and the fluid dynamics and everything. Wave Race 64. This one is pretty special to me. A few of my friends had it growing up, and I always had some experience with it. I always played it a little bit, but I never had it. And then I got it. Of course, Donnivin found it for me.
Yeah.
And it was like, I've since played it to the point where I was so happy with the game and played it so much that I was actually going after track records, like on speedrun.com. I got close on some of them, but they're pretty optimized, which is fine. But I still enjoy the game. Like, it's water racing on jet skis. Like, still has talked about water physics to this day. People love this game. I love this game. It's amazing. Like, you can submarine under the water, and it does all kinds of stuff that modern, like, kind of water style racers don't do, and ones of the same era just couldn't even compare to at the time.
I think what's awesome about it is this was such an early game.
So it's a launch title.
So, and it stands out still to this day as being such a fun game. And for only $25, pick it up. If you're looking for a game that you're going to have some fun with, and visually you're not hating looking at the screen.
It looks great.
Yeah.
Like, I love the way it looks. And honestly, this is one of the early titles you should buy for the N64. Like, this is one of the, price-wise, gameplay-wise, it has some multiplayer. It's got a bunch of different modes. It's something you should have. It's a staple on the console.
Yeah.
Like, you need to have it. It was a launch title. It should be on your shelf right there next to Mario 64.
And that concludes this list. So, if you're liking our list or have some games that are on your personal list, throw them in the comments below.
And tell us what you think about the games that we just talked about. Do you hate them? Do you love them? Tell us why you love them, why you hate them, or even if you don't like them, either one.
Yeah. And you know what? Or if you have a cool story about how you found the game. We love that too.
That's a good point too.
So, throw it down below, like and subscribe.